Hey, it's showtime. Welcome to Chill Skills Sporlan Tech Talks. The topic for this episode is Sporlan's Spring 2021 Virtual Product Review. This is part one, and this is our first webinar of the new year. What are we going to discuss today? Some of Sporlan's new stuff, I think.
Let's talk about products. Why don't we?
New stuff.
You know.
Here's a shameless promotion for the next webinar. We haven't even done this one yet. We're already talking about the next one we're going to do. We will broadcast part two of the virtual product review on February 4th, 2021. We'll be introducing some new thermostatic expansion valves and discussing some of our newer contaminant control stuff. And just so that you know, down here, these are not a new line of automatic expansion valves or PRVs at the bottom of the screen, in case you were just wondering.
I was wondering about
that.
That,
you know, just because they've chopped off this capillary tube and the sensing bulb, it's just one of those.
Well, they don't work all that well without those, but
no, but it's just for image.
Right.
Here are a few instructions. If the speaker on your computer doesn't work, maybe you ought to get a new computer, but you could simply dial in with your phone. There should be a phone number somewhere on the invitation that you originally received for the webinar. But in case you don't have that handy, here's the phone number you could call in to listen to us. As we move along and you have questions, you could type those questions into the question and answer window. And we might even answer some questions live. But if we run out of time, we'll eventually post answers to all the questions online. However, there's a good bet. If you hang on, we'll answer your question during the course of the webinar itself. And just so you know, this webinar is being recorded. Now, usually we're out on Facebook Live, but we can't do that today. But we are going to put it on Facebook a little later in the week and then follow that up with the Sporlan YouTube channel. So we are going to record this so you can go back and listen to it over and over again. Hello, I'm Jim Jansen, Senior Application Engineer for the Sporlan application team here in Washington, Missouri. And this smiling face right here is me. And joining me today is John Withouse. Here's John right here. John's a Senior Principal Engineer for the Sporlan Division. He's also a published author, consultant, and as I have said many times in the past, all around extra smart guy. All this means John's a big deal around here, and we're really excited to have him with us today. Say hi, John.
Good afternoon, Jim, and good afternoon, everyone out there.
Yeah. And for those of you who are really paying attention, this is our first time attempting to broadcast a video image of the presenters. And John, I could see that you went and dressed up for the occasion.
I did, indeed. Yeah. I dressed up.
You can also, I should let you know that we got Phyllis in the room with us, and she's our marketing communications director. She tells us what to do and when to do it, like when to advance slides and when not to advance slides. And occasionally we listen to her, and she might even be telling me that my laser pointer's hung up over there on that slide right now. But she'll at times attempt to distract us with sign language that we can't interpret. And all good fun.
Right.
Hey, if you have any follow-up questions, you can see that we have our email addresses underneath our images here. You're welcome to send emails to us, or you can contact Sporlan Technical Support at svdtechsupport@parker.com, or you can always call us at 636-239-1111, and a human will actually answer the phone. Mm-hmm. Here is the new ZoomLock Max. This is a press-to-connect refrigerant fitting. It's designed for the air conditioning and refrigeration markets. It's a very efficient method of joining copper fittings and tubing with a braze-free method. These fittings are manufactured from hard copper. They're tough and durable.
Indeed, they are.
And we do something pretty neat with these. We ship them hermetically sealed in a package. That way they stay nice and clean. They don't have any rats or mice or dust or dirt or anything else that might crawl inside there while they're sitting in a box waiting for you to use. These stay nice and clean.
That's right.
Until you need to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're rated clear up to 700 PSI and they're UL listed. Now, if you want to know more about them, you can go to, what is it?
ZoomLockMax.com.
Oh, wow, for even more information. Here are two of the Rothenberger style tools, the press tools. There's a 24 kilonewton and a big whopping 32 kilonewton monster. Is that right? 32 kilonewton.
32 kilonewton.
The twin turbo and the Romax. Those sounds like brutal names.
It does. It kind of sounds like something out of a Transformers movie to me.
It does a little bit.
You know,
Yeah. And as far as I know, Sporlan is providing these press tools. We maybe even have them in stock.
we did.
While we recommend utilizing the Rothenberger tools and jaws with the ZoomLock Max fittings, the jaws are available and compatible with a wide array of standard and compact crimping tools. Now, something, if you're reading ahead over here, you'll notice that there's no crimp gauge required. How do we get away with that, John? No crimp gauge?
We get away with no crimp gauge by having extensively tested the product, extensively validated the product and the crimping jaws, and proving that we do not need to gauge these.
Wow. Well, that's a time saver there in and by itself. Now look at this. We have the backing and the support of 60 plus professional sales and application people across North America. You know, some of those folks are even people that I've trained. That's kind of scary. Yeah.
It is. That's scary.
And you got to love this 10-year warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a new product that we're promoting as well, the ZoomLock Push to Connect refrigerant fitting. These are really quick and handy. You don't need a fancy, expensive tool to put them together. You just push them together.
Push them together and they're connected.
And they're going again, as with the ZoomLock Max, there's no brazing, no flame, no hot work permit, and there's no need to nitrogen purge because you didn't burn it all to hell in the first place.
That's right.
We have that same sales force supporting these products as well. And look at this. These are rated clear up to 870 PSI.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive. I've heard something about it's the configuration and the thickness of the brass and the incorporation of the grab ring that helps to gain that rating.
That's correct.
And John, are these UL listed?
They are.
And if somebody wants to know more about these than what I'm telling them here, where would they go?
In this case, you would go to ZoomLockPush.com.
ZoomLockPush.com. We got 2 websites just set up for those. Now, there's a 410A optimized designed version. We say it's non-removable and it's suitable for not only 410A, but a number of other refrigerants. It's got that 10-year warranty. And I don't know, there's something about maybe you don't want to put a finger inside of here or maybe any other body part for that
would
matter.
Probably be advisable
Yeah,
not to do anything like that. Yes.
No, that's probably bad. Now, we've also have a so-called removable version. Boy, say that fast 3 times, removable version. That's got
I don't think I can do that.
That's got a double O-ring in it. And apparently you can pull the little booger apart.
They can be disassembled.
How would you do that, John?
Well, we actually offer a nice little take apart tool.
If you can see that, you get this little key set with these pull it apart tools.
Refer to them as wrenches, though they're not really a wrench. They're just a release tool.
Hey, yeah, it works. And so we're showing that you can buy those from us.
Indeed.
10-year warranty here, 5-year warranty on this one. And here's where these guys really come into play. MiniSplits, which are really susceptible to debris that could develop during installation. This
Correct.
helps to eliminate that. Residential AC, quick, fast, and a whole host of sizes here, right, John?
Right. All the sizes you should need for those types of applications.
And the types.
Right. SAE flare adapters, couplings, elbows.
And
as you pointed out, having cleanliness is extremely important for the MiniSplits. Very, very important.
Absolutely. And I think they might even be in stock. Now, if you go to your local Sporlan wholesaler, we're hoping that you'll see a ZoomLock Push fitting display in the end cap at front and center of the Sporlan and Parker authorized distributors. If there are any attendees out listening to us today that work at a wholesaler and you don't have one of these end cap displays, ask your Sporlan sales engineer or your Parker field rep or your store management. Store management. Ask them why not. Okay, and remember,
ZoomLockMax.com
and
ZoomLock
ZoomLock
Push.
Yeah, perfect.
for more information.
Now, we're going to move on to another product line. More and more, we're seeing customers that are deploying EEVs, electrically actuated valves that are electronically controlled for superheat control, and even electronic actuation for evaporator pressure regulation, EEVs and EEPRs in the system. Yep. If you're going to use those, you're really going to need something to tell them what to do. Here's an example of an appropriate controller for just such a task, the S3C case controller. Now that stands, what is that? That's a catchy little name. What does that mean, John?
There are 3 S's in there, of course: safety, service, and security.
That's kind of cute, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Now,
very clever.
Absolutely. We offer a complete online training module for this control. It's really important. You can get certified to service the S3C for some major accounts across the United States. And you'll also get some training on some other electronic devices in the process. We highly encourage this.
It is very good training.
Yeah.
It's very, very useful, and you will learn a lot about these controllers and learn just how easy they are to actually deal with. This case controller will drive the EEV, the EEPR, and even a liquid line solenoid valve. It also has onboard relays that would do things like control lights, defrost cycle, fans, anti-sweat heaters. The Sporlan S3C case control product line includes these 3 main components: the case controller, the valve module, and this display module that all support open protocol communications via BACnet and Modbus. Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
That is correct.
What else does this have? This thing also has Bluetooth. I thought that was something you had to go to the dentist to get.
Not anymore. Not anymore. No.
Okay. Well, these devices are designed to facilitate both installation and integration by the original equipment manufacturer, the OEM.
Mm-hmm.
What else can you do with them?
They're also actually quite retrofittable in the field. So it's something a contractor can do out in the field.
That would be handy. Most of this information was already on the previous slide. The thing that's important here is this standalone control platform can handle up to 3 evaporators. You put that case controller and the valve module together and then package it with
Mm-hmm.
that display module. Here's an example of that with the case controller, the valve module. Here's the display, and we have 1, 2, 3 different EEVs terminated in the appropriate places. Pretty neat.
That's correct.
And just a reminder, there's 3 components that comprise this complete package: the S3C case controller, the valve module, and the Bluetooth display module. Yeah.
Yep.
Really neat. What the heck is this thing, John? And where do you get one? What does it do?
All right. So the reason for the Bluetooth is so that you don't have to go through and do all your function checks and set up through that little display module.
Yeah.
You can, but you can also do it through a very intuitive app called Sporlan Tech Check, which is available for both Android and Apple devices.
Oh, there, that's what this means.
iOS and Android.
Okay.
Yep.
So where do you get this? You go to the Apple Store?
Apple Store or the Google Play Store.
So it'll talk to the S3C through the display module?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. Well, that's pretty neat. This is slide 16, just so that Dennis knows. Now, new product line. Modulating three-way valves, innovative solution to heat recovery and heat reclaim applications. Now, we've done this for a while, but we're expanding this product line in response to customer interest. Mm-hmm. We've increased the offerings to four different sizes. So we've got the 9 and the 17. Now we got a 7 and the 21.
Right. Expanding it both to the lower end and the upper end of the product range.
And just so that you know, here's an example of how this valve could be incorporated into a vapor compression refrigeration system. Remember, there's 4 main components: the compressor, the condenser, evaporator, metering device, mm-hmm. and then over here, here's where this modulating three-way valve could be utilized.
Right.
And then this is showing it connected to an interface board that's helping to tell it what to do.
Right.
These valves simplify applications and are ideal for modulating reheat or heat recovery. They're applications that we're seeing more interest in all the time.
Right.
As an update to the product line, all sizes are now available in a serviceable form. Look at this. These things look like you can take them apart.
Indeed, you can.
The reduction in piping and controls and the complexity help customers implement modulating control in a more simple, compact way.
Mm-hmm.
What does this say? Motor adapter assemblies and piston is removable. I bet we've got a kit for that. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Indeed, we do.
Yeah. So here's the new product sizes recently launched, support a broader range of sizes and support the expansion of modulating reheat, heat reclaim to smaller and larger tonnages. And here you see a snippet from the catalog on the product on the ratings table. So it shows for the refrigerant known as R410A, various pressure drops, evaporator temperatures. You've got a wide range of capacities, both with the 7 and the 21. Here's a list of some of the part numbers that are in our system, ranging from the MTW7S up here down to the MTW21S. You know what, John? I found a part number in here that was wrong earlier.
You did, really?
I did. I fixed it, though.
Good.
Yeah, I had help from a smart customer service leader help me fix that. Yeah. We also offer the MTW service kit. That service kit includes a motor adapter assembly and a piston assembly.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got a kit. You can buy it.
That's right.
Something else we can sell to you.
Completely rebuildable once the valve is in the system.
Absolutely. Now, Sporlan has recently launched a new standalone control option, the Superheat Control System, or SCS-SB Step System Control. Wow. Say that fast on your back of a running horse. This is an electronic superheat controller solution that's designed for refrigeration applications using the step motor type expansion valve, an EEV. It's designed to be mounted within the refrigerated space for ease of installation on existing equipment. That kind of smacks of retrofit stuff to me.
Retrofits, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it includes a coil outlet temperature sensor and connectors for the step motor valve, pressure sensors, and electrical power. What else? I bet it is also Bluetooth
compatible.
This has got that Bluetooth thing going on.
That's
also.
Right.
That's just incredible. Can't get away from that. This control package can accommodate both a pulse width modulating valve or a step motor valve alike. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's this slide? This slide's implying connectivity through that
same Tech Check app that works with the S3C.
Oh gosh, that's just too cool.
So you can go in and
wait a minute, John. Wait a minute. Here, look at this. Look, it looks as though that Sporlan Tech Check app communicates with this SCS Superheat Control System in addition to the S3C.
It does, indeed.
What a deal. Who would have thought? There'd probably be something really helpful. What would be, if you were going to go down this path, that online training for the S3C, that would be beneficial.
The online training will also
help you with this.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, I don't get this one. Usually I activate stuff with a hammer. This is trying to tell me I can do it with a magnet.
Yeah,
you turn it on with a magnet?
You may not want to use a hammer on this one. That's the hammer's for mechanical problems, and this is an electrical device. So
okay, all right, okay, all right. So you activate the Bluetooth controller with a magnet. You touch a magnet to it, and that triggers it.
Indeed,
that's
what happens.
And the blue LED is on, and you'll see the device appear in the app. That's just like magic. That's pretty cool.
Kind of neat, huh?
Yes. We mentioned something about pulse width modulation just a little while ago. And really, pulse width modulation is a technique for control.
Correct.
So I guess really, if we wanted to be real rigorous, we would call this a pulse width modulating valve.
It sounds a bit redundant, but I'll buy onto it.
Okay, fair enough. But we've got a robust series of products in this product line. I mean, 50 million cycles.
50 million cycles.
That's a lot of cycles.
That is a lot of cycles.
I mean,
that is many
somebody,
cycles.
Somebody will probably ask us, how does that equate to years? And that's kind of tough to make that transition.
It is tough.
But that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. Now, it's because we know that contamination in a system is one of the single biggest problems that controls encounter that are flow controls.
Mm-hmm.
So having a serviceable design with strainers is a really beneficial thing. It also has interchangeable ports. We can come up with different size, different capacities with this.
It can be tailored. It can be tailored to quite a wide range of capacities with those interchangeable ports. And
a wide array of refrigerants. You know, what was old is now new again. Things like CO2. I mean, we can handle HFCs, CFCs. You know, there's a lot of R22 out in the field. We'll probably be out there functioning for a long time,
mm-hmm.
and even HFO compatible. So these work with most any refrigerant you're going to encounter.
Right. Just about every refrigerant that could be used out there today is compatible with these valves.
Yep. And as you would expect, highly corrosion resistant. I mean, we've got brass, copper, and stainless steel construction in these devices. So here's the pulse width modulation valve. As far as some specs are concerned, maximum rated pressure. Now it's not 1300. It's not 1310. It's 1305 psi.
Right.
I guess that because that works out to be 90 bar.
90 bar.
That's probably part of the reason.
90 bar.
Maximum operating pressure differential, it'll stay closed. I'm going to make fun of this again. 507 psi differential. That's 35 bar.
35 bar.
I get it.
The upshot of it is truly suitable for CO2 systems.
Perfect. That's good. Now, here's some really neat features. It automatically sets up superheat.
It does.
You don't have to go in. I mean, John, what's involved with dialing in a mechanical expansion valve? I don't know if we have time for you to describe that to us, but
first you have to be able to access the valve readily.
Oh, now see, you might have to unload the case.
You might have to unload.
Oh man, okay.
Out of the case,
and then you haven't even got started doing anything
you
yet.
have not started doing anything. You have to be able to get the adjustment cap off of it.
Okay.
You have to be able to get your measuring devices in place. You need a pressure measurement. You need a temperature measurement to be able to do it. You need your handy dandy Sporlan PT chart to be able to do it.
Okay.
And you need some time.
That sounds complicated.
You need some time.
This does it automatically.
You
just plug and play, punch in the numbers.
Pretty much.
Oh, look at this. Remote monitoring. Now, I bet that's limited.
It is in this case.
What's the limiting factor here, John?
Pretty much the range of your Bluetooth device.
Okay. Fair enough. But
you can monitor it still without being in the case, so to speak.
Okay. All right. Now, normally with a step motor valve, you would also have a solenoid valve in that line would be needed for positive shutoff following a power failure.
Correct.
Now, since this valve is essentially a solenoid valve anyway, we got that covered.
Mm-hmm.
It'll close on a power failure.
It will.
Yeah. And it's easy to troubleshoot.
Very easy.
And if you find that you can't get to the root of it, we still have humans here in Washington, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Sporlan Tech Support. We're always here to help you.
Humans that are actually very good with all things refrigeration system and very much with all of our products.
That is a neat support thing that we do. Now, here's another product. It's been around for a little while, but we thought it deserves some attention. And it looks pretty much like this EEV with this serviceable inlet strainer has the fancy dancy little 3427 000 mesh stainless steel strainer. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if that's the exact part number, but it sounded good. It sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
Very much so, yeah.
Now, this is a serviceable strainer, but it does mean a word of caution that I think you'd need to isolate this valve from system pressure in order to remove this strainer and not have a de maximis leak.
That's always a good idea, yeah.
Now, the capacities of this valve are similar to the traditional SCR capacities. In other words, a double A port, like we're saying double A port here, that's a little over a half a ton, half to 3/4 ton, depending upon the refrigerant and the conditions.
Mhm.
And the C port's going to be, I don't know, 7 to 8 tons. Again, same kind of deal. What refrigerant's flowing through it? What are the conditions? 2,500 steps of resolution. I think we've tested the dickens out of these. And this is pretty neat. It has that M12 style cable. That means we can take this cable off. We can remove it. But you know what's really cool?
You can actually put it back on.
You can put it back on. Most all of our cables, you can take them off the valve, but you might not get them back on.
That's right. This one's designed to do both.
That's awesome. Now, unipolar electric expansion valves, the OEV series. Unipolar versus bipolar. Ordinarily I'd have something cute to say about bipolar, but I'm not going to do that.
That's right.
I'm not. Why unipolar construction, John?
In this case, it all depends on the control scheme that the control designer wants to implement on their boards. There are certain controllers that like to control designers, and it helps them provide a better balance between performance and cost.
This gives them a choice.
Absolutely gives them a choice.
I mean, I guess most of our traditional valves in the Sporlan lineup are bipolar, right?
That's correct.
Or bipolar.
Yep.
And this thing has a so-called dry stator. Can you take this off without isolating the valve from system pressure?
Yes, you can, because it is not part of the sealed system.
Okay. Now you can't quite see over here, but it looks like there's a number of leads coming off the motor assembly. On a traditional bipolar valve, we've got what, 4 leads?
4 leads.
How many do you have on this little devil?
I think there's actually 5 leads on a unipolar valve.
Okay. Is that because of the center tap in the construction of the?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Really doesn't make sense to me, but I guess people that do this kind of stuff, they know what that all
The
means.
people that design controls know exactly what to do with that.
So it's really up to the designer regarding the motor style and the required scheme, whether they want to go down the path of a unipolar construction like we have available here or bipolar. But it all boils down to you have a choice with us.
That's correct. And we want to point out too that this is actually quite suitable for a true oilless application.
Okay. I bet that also means that the hydrocarbon refrigerant situation is a good answer for that.
Correct. Also completely suitable for all the newer refrigerants, including the hydrocarbons. So,
yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, you have a system using an A3, actually safety classified A3 refrigerant. These valves are suitable for use with it.
That's a real good point to bring up. That helps to increase the choices that you have.
Indeed.
Here you see that the EEV, known as the OEV series of unipolar electric expansion valve, for refrigeration and light commercial air conditioning applications. We've got a bearing design for, I think you already said this, oilless applications.
I guess I got ahead of myself.
You are behind me or ahead of you, or yeah, something like that. The capacities are similar to the SER AA through SER D electric expansion valve capacities. I think. What does that mean, John? Do you have any idea about what that is? What's a double A port?
The double A port is maybe around the half to 3/4 ton capacity range. And if you go up to the D port, it gets up to around 12 to 13 tons. That, of course, is dependent upon the refrigerant and the conditions. But that's just a general guideline.
Yeah.
And, of course, in between there, you also have A, B, and C ports.
Gotcha.
So you have several choices there to get optimized selection for the valve.
Yeah. And it looks like we go clear up to maybe 15 tons if we're talking about R410A. That makes sense.
High capacity, high pressure refrigerants, you can get that little extra capacity.
Absolutely. An innovative needle design for consistency and high cycle life. That's a good deal.
It is.
All right. So you got choices. Didn't have choices before. Now you do. And, things like propane are going to find their way into systems more and more all the time.
Yes, they will.
And so this gives you an option for control.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
So your things like hydrocarbons and CO2, things like that are going to find their way into more and more systems. And as we look to the future and design new valves to accommodate those refrigerants, these are the types of products that we see. These are the types of products that we need to be able to accommodate those choices.
It's a good thing. Well, golly, John, the time just went by like nobody's business. We're just about to wrap this up. Do we have any questions that we ought to try to answer?
At this point, I think everything's either already been answered or we will answer them after the fact here.
Now, we're misspeaking here a little bit. Obviously, we said at the beginning that we're not on Facebook Live today, but we will be posting out on Facebook and on YouTube. If we've got any questions that appear that we haven't dealt with at this point, we of course will go back and post answers to them. And just to let you know, we're here to help you with your AC and refrigeration flow needs. I mean, we've got a crew of people here in the U.S. headquarters. You can reach them at 636-239-1111, or you can call tech support directly at 636-392-3906. I said that right, didn't I, John?
I think you did.
Screw that. You can also, if you don't want to talk to us, because we can be kind of ornery, you can send an email to tech support here at svdtechsupport@parker.com. We're here, of course, 24/7 because always can access our information at sporlan.com. We're supporting blogs out there on Facebook, Twitter, our YouTube channel on Sporlan Video. We're trying to stay connected with you so that we can help. We've also got a nice software package that's free of charge for you to use, virtual engineer selection program. We encourage you to utilize that anytime you get a chance. And we're out there to try to help you. As a reminder, here's another shameless reminder for the next webinar. That'll be part 2 on February the 4th. February the 4th. Save the date. We want you to join us then. And this concludes our first webinar of the year, part 1 of the virtual product review. And it is a part of the Chill Skills Sporlan Tech Talks. Thank you for joining us, and please join us next time.
Thanks, everyone.